Hello, it's Scott here. So I was just at Summer's Games Fest, and it's actually really good. This year had a lot of really big bangers. I mean, I'm someone who's generally not into like the AAA space as much. I like a lot more of the indies and double A's. But even so, there's still some games that even I was excited about. Ironically, like the first one that I kind of screamed at was The Last Ronin, which was thinking about that now. We didn't get like anything out of it other than the fact that like it officially is in existence. Like we've gotten some kind of like stuff in the back end and rumors and all that where they were thinking of like putting certain developers to like develop for The Last Ronin. So we did get confirmation that it's Platinum Games doing it. So if you like Mutants in Manhattan, which was also done by Platinum Games, that is going to be done by that team for Last Ronin. So hopefully we actually get to actually see gameplay or something. Last Ronin is a very big, like it was one of like the most popular comics for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when it came out, and it kind of like set in a whole new resurgence to the series. There was also a few other things that I got super excited about. The one that first pops into my head is Stellar Blade is getting one with Blood Rain. We're getting the sequel already, which I'm kind of surprised we're actually getting shown it. I hope that we get to see more of it later on. We actually already saw gameplay. We already got to see who the character Eevee was. We got to see that it is now using fists instead of swords. They're much faster than Eve was in Stellar Blade. They're probably doing that to differentiate the characters as well as to have people hopefully say that it's not a Souls-like. Stellar Blade was, especially in like when the demo hit, everyone thought it was a Souls-like. So like everybody called it a Souls-like, like the Souls-like. But only like the beginning it feels like a Souls-like, because once you start upgrading Eve, you actually got to see more speed, more finesse than you'd usually see in like a Souls-like experience. Hot Wheels is a really interesting one, because Hot Wheels, like the games like Unleashed and Unleashed 2 are actually pretty decent. So us getting a new Hot Wheels game is actually kind of cool. And this one looks like it has actual budget behind it. So obviously the Unleashed games have worked well enough for the publishing studio to give them more backing and more games. I'm trying to think of other ones that was super. Attack on Titan showed up. The dumb thing is they still called it Attack on Titan 3, especially when they said that it was going to start from the beginning of the series to the end of the series, which is something that that's something I would have waited for anyways for them to do, instead of doing what they were used to doing, like doing Attack on Titan 1 and Attack on Titan 2, where the first game was like the first season, and the second game was the second season, but from a brand new perspective. Like they tried to give you like an OC character you could make, and then basically season 3 and season 4 just were nowhere. So they were waiting to then make this game, apparently. And this game actually takes place from the beginning of the series till the end of it. So it's the whole experience, which does make you wonder, why did they call it 3? They should have called it just like the finale, like the final battle, or just the finished story. That's probably what I would have called it, is the Attack on Titan, the finished story. So to tell people like you don't need to do the first 2 games to play the third one, because the third one should have the beginning of it. At least that's what they like were trying to sum up as if it had. And it had moments from the beginning of the series, so obviously it either had like a flashback or it played from the beginning of the series to the end of the series, which is how I would expect them to do. Koei Tecmo and Omega Force are making it. They made the first 2 Attack on Titan games, and they were really good. They were very fast-paced, and they put a lot of emphasis in this trailer on Levi, which, to be fair, Levi kind of is the one who's been there since the beginning. Eren has his moments. Like, he's in the beginning of, like, the anime series. But when you, like, go through chronologically, he wasn't the one fighting the Titans in the beginning. It was Levi and the scout troop. So it's great that we get to see that aspect of it, to show them, like, yeah, we're going from the beginning of the series, like, chronologically, not just the anime kind of, or the manga kind of deal. So that'll be interesting to see, because we get to see, like, Kid Eren and Kid Mikasa. There was a lot of good games. I actually really like the trailer we got for Blood of the Dawnwalker. That's been a game that I haven't really been expecting to like or like paying too much attention to. But overall, like the actual explanation of how and everything's working with like this guy being the one vampire to go against the rest of the vampires, but he has to eat like specific blood to stay in the daylight. So I guess that's his strength. That's why he's called the Dawnwalker. So that actually did look good. That was probably the first time that I cared about this game. It's been a lot. I have to think about it. Wuthering Waves made an appearance. It was cool. We got more Cyberpunk Edgerunners information than we did in the live stream. Well, kinda. We got just a basic glimpse of them actually showing off, like Night City, showing off some of the gameplay elements of Rebecca and Lucy. There is also more information of other games, like Hitman is getting a new thing. 007 wasn't there, but we did go to an IOA media access thing where we got to see more of James Bond and 007 because they're adding a lot more content. They're going to basically be turning 007 First Light into the Hitman World of Assassination game, where they just keep adding more and more content into the game and you don't have to pay anything. Like if you bought World of Assassination right now, you get so much content because they basically give you the first 3 games maps into the game. They also let you play the story. They then also have all of these extra modes and extra maps and extra content, and all of it is basically free for the purchase of the game. So all the upgrades and all the patches that they do is all free. So that's what they're doing with 007 First Light, which is going to be cool. And yeah, the final game that showed up. So in the Summer Games Fest, I do think the 2 strongest games there were the opening and the closing. So the first game we got was the actual Resident Evil Veronica, which seems to be related to Code Veronica, which is a game and a game that everybody's been hoping that they deal more with. So it seems like we're a little bit going back into Code Veronica, but it looks like there's more than just Code Veronica. So I wonder if they're doing more of a story to it, or if they're like doing a reimagining of Code Veronica to show off and bring her into like the current setting that Resident Evil's trying to bring everything towards with like 9 and Requiem. And then the final game was, of course, Final Fantasy VII's third part of the remake trilogy, which they called Revelation. The big thing they wanted to show off was the airship, which, yeah, the airship was the thing that people were wondering the most about, especially because a lot of the interviews were geared towards the difficulties of creating and trying to navigate with the airship in the overworld that they made in Rebirth. Because Rebirth, everything was just walk to, or you could teleport to, or you could use a chocobo. Those are like your 3 options, or you just get like a setting that would take you to another location based on a cinematic. So people were wondering how that was going to be working with the airship. And so it looks like instead of like landing the airship, they just keep the airship in the air and they just throw everybody overboard. They have to take parachutes to then land. But it looks great. Like everything is looking as it should. And they do show off. One of the things I was super excited about was they're implementing a job system into the game. So Tifa has a black mage outfit, and it also changes what she does in the game. There's also Cloud, who had a fighter outfit, and that changes his moves in the game. And based on those moves and based on those outfits, it gives them different abilities. So I was super hyped to see that actually show up there. I was hoping that we would see more of like the story and like things that could have changed, because the things that like changed in Rebirth were what they kept showing. Was like Zack was there, Aerith knew more than she was supposed to know about her role in this, and it made the question of, are they actually going to kill Aerith off in Rebirth? And that was like basically the big question they tried to give players. And if you were following the interviews, you would know that No, they were not going to let Aerith survive. They were going to kill her so that we could get the third part of the story, because her death is actually important if you actually played the game. In case you haven't played the original game, and why she was where she was and didn't get up or try to dodge Sephiroth's attack because it like shows super slow motion as she's praying. So that is going to be important. And obviously, Revelation doesn't show some of the things that I was also wondering if they're going to keep the same, such as the moments of Tifa and Cloud getting Cloud's head back together as they go through the live stream. They just showed some of the actual fighting of the weapons, because the weapons are trying to stop the world from exploding thanks to Sephiroth. So now they have to have Shinra and Cloud's forces team up to get rid of the weapons so that they can focus on the meteor that's in the middle of the sky. So hopefully we see more info about that. One thing to note is that the voice actor for Sephiroth used to be Tyler Hoechlin, who's like the Superman. He's no longer the voice actor now for Part 3, which is weird. The voice actor still sounds really good. It's just weird to have it change on the third and final game. But apparently, Naka Hamaguchi said that is because they couldn't actually get his schedule right because he was too busy doing other things. Which makes sense. He's getting more roles, and he's a normal actor as well as voice acting now, so he's in demand a lot of the time. So that's basically my thoughts on the Summer Game Fest. There's probably other games that I've missed. Mainly because I'm doing this a little later than I wanted to, because I had to go to the actual, IOI Access event. After that event, it took us a while to get here because traffic. And then I also wanted to make sure I ate and did some write-ups for the site. So we're now back at the end. Summer Game Fest was actually really good. We got a lot of games that I was actually interested in for being AAA. I'd say my strongest one that I want right now would be Part 7 Revelation. But that's easy for me. I'm the JRPG guy. Alrighty. Talk to y'all later. Bye.